Mark, you said 100,000. Is that the current figure?
Ted?
No, the figure was 75,000.
75.
Yeah. I think that's a very important point that Mark makes, is that this is a friendly review. This is not a review by a competitive business seeking trade secrets or any other business information. This is a forensic investigation funded by, I believe, 38,000 retired school teachers, participants in this fund. And the goal of our investigation is to improve the management of the pension fund. I can't imagine why the pension board, consistent with their fiduciary duty to do what's best for the pension, would oppose what we're doing. Our report, I'm a national expert, if not the leading national expert on public pension funds. The report's going to be given to the board for free, funded by the participants. So it's really surprising that STRS hasn't willingly handed over everything from the get-go. And in this, with respect to CEM and the cost of the investments here, we know already, and it is ready in my draft report, that STRS staff does not know the costs of all the investments that they have made. They are incapable of telling CEM benchmarking what those costs are. Therefore, CEM benchmarking is using certain guesstimates or estimates. Okay. In my opinion, and I believe it's well settled law, that the fiduciaries to a pension fund must know, must monitor the investment costs and determine them to be reasonable. If they don't even know what they are, they clearly cannot have fulfilled their fiduciary duty. So this is what will come out. We will find out, the public will find out, does STRS even know? Or is money being taken out? Because the fees are taken out by the money managers unilaterally. They don't send an invoice and the invoice is paid by STRS. The fees are taken directly out of the underlying investments. So is money being taken out without anyone at STRS ever knowing how much and whether the fees are even appropriate or legal? Some of these investments, like private equity, the SEC itself recently concluded about a couple of years ago that half of all private equity funds charge bogus fees, illegal fees. That's half of the funds in an industry. How many of the private equity, 186 or so private equity investments that STRS has made involve funds that are taking bogus fees? Half? We don't know. And because of this secrecy, we can't know. That's why it's critical that this lawsuit be brought and a determination be made.
Well, and I might note that absent from today's news conference are all reporters from all of the papers, which are most of the papers in Ohio, that are owned by these hedge funds that receive their investments from the state public pension systems. So the Dispatch, the Cincinnati Enquirer, the Akron Beacon Journal, the Clanton Repository, the Dayton Daily News, all the Gannett papers are now owned by Gateway, which is a hedge fund with public pension fund investments in Ohio. So those papers no longer have an incentive to cover this, because the folks that own them are the ones that are benefiting from these potentially bogus fees. And so we have a real crisis here in the state of transparency and government accountability, and that's what this is about at the bottom line. So it's more complicated. I appreciate everybody who was here today to ask these questions and to report on these issues because it is so important. Any other questions? All right. Well, we appreciate everybody taking time. Ted, thank you so much for your time, and Andy. And we're available if you have additional questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.